And we are live. What's up, everybody? I'm Glenn from Beauty Angels Academy. Welcome to the webinar. Would you like to know how Jacoby in the other screen went from a $12 per hour receptionist working 6 days per week and turned herself into a 4-day per week microblading artist as her own boss, doubling her income? Would you like to know how she did that? Well, you're going to find out on today's webinar. Here we go. Are you curious if a career in microblading might change your life? Well, let me welcome you to 6 Digit Club Success Stories, where we feature interviews with our microblading students who are creating fulfilling careers and financial freedom they never had before. You'll learn how they started, how they achieved their success, and how you can follow in their footsteps. Join us, and let's find out if a career in microblading is for you. And so here we go. All right. So welcome, everybody. I am Glenn, your host of the Beauty Angels 6 Digit Club Microblading Career Success Stories webinar. I know that's a mouthful, but it's all meaningful. Jacoby Jones is my guest today. Jacoby, say what's up to everybody.
Hey, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. How are you, Glenn?
Very good. I'm excited to have you here, and I'm going to tell you why. A lot of times on these webinars, I feature someone who has achieved like some extraordinary level in the business or some extraordinary level of income or something like this. And what's really cool about your story is you weren't necessarily even aiming for, the highest levels of income that you could get to. But what you were aiming for was more time with your family, right? And to be able to spend time with your daughter and have more flexibility and be your own boss. Is that right?
Yes, that's absolutely right.
Yeah, and you absolutely achieved it. I mean, you've transformed your life from a receptionist working for somebody else, working 6 days per week, and now being your own boss and having complete control over your own schedule and being able to spend time with your daughter and be there for all of her extracurricular events. I think that's super cool. And you doubled your income in the process, working much less time per week. So I can't wait to share that story with everybody.
Yeah, I'm excited.
All right, so let's do it. A couple quick things before we get into the webinar today, guys. This is going to go about 30 minutes. We're going to try to get into it as quickly as we can. You're going to learn about Jacoby's story, how she did it, and how you could follow in her footsteps if that's something that you'd like to do. Now, speaking of following in Jacoby's footsteps, if you are interested in taking action at any point today, there should be a link somewhere around this video. You can go ahead and click that link. It'll take you over to our website at beautyangelsacademy.us/consultation, where you can very simply complete a quick form and schedule a free consultation with our staff. Our staff is super friendly. You can see our logo and our color scheme. It's pink. So unfortunately, we have to be very friendly, even if we don't want to be. But in all seriousness, our staff is very friendly, and they'll be happy to help you figure out if a career in microblading is for you, just like it was for Jacoby, okay? A couple things that we're going to do today, in addition to learning about this story, is I'm going to show you our Beauty Angels kit. Jacoby, you see that over there?
Yes.
We're going to show them the kit. Should we do it?
Yes. They're going to be so overwhelmed.
Should we show them a little bit of the material from the course?
Yes.
I think
the course is awesome.
I think we should. Guys, it's a really super detailed course. We're going to get into it. We're going to share it with you. We're going to show you some of the tools and show you how you can follow in her footsteps. All right. So if you have any questions, if you're logged into the webinar, you can throw your questions into the chat. I'll be checking that out, and our staff is standing by to see if they can answer your questions. And if you're watching on social media, please, if you're inspired by Jacoby's story, please give her a like, give her a follow. I'm going to ask you to follow her on social media. Her Instagram is Browse Beastie. Is that right?
Brow Beastie, yeah.
That's right. Not Browse, but Brow Beastie. I'm going to show it to you in just a second. I'm going to take you there. That's where we're going to start the story. And hey, share the video, give her a comment, let her know that she's inspiring you and you appreciate her courage to come on here and to share her story in the with the intention to help bring others up. All right. So with that being said, Jacoby, I know it's a mouthful, my whole introduction spiel here, but are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do this. Here we go. So I'd like to start, if you don't mind, I'd like to start with kind of like where you are today, and then let's go back in time to where you started and fill in the gaps, and that'll sort of bring everybody along. So where where are you today? What's life like? How many treatments do you do? Like, how does this work? Where are you located?
Okay, so I'm located in Amarillo, Texas. We're just right in the panhandle of Texas. I work, like you said, 4 days a week, about 7 hours a day. And I mostly spend a lot of time with my family, especially my daughter, doing things for her. So it's really given me the freedom to be able to do that. And that was one of my biggest goals when I first started microblading.
Amazing. And so, I actually didn't tell everybody the name of your Instagram, your handle. So just for everyone who's watching, it's Brow Beastie. You can see it up here. We'll put it in the caption, and we'll put it in the chat so that you guys can follow her. Brow Beastie. Okay. But so Jacoby, for those who are watching and they don't really understand exactly what microblading is, could you explain it to them in like 30 seconds or less?
Yeah, so microblading is just a natural technique that we use to go in and create individual strokes throughout the brow to give you a more symmetrical, more full look to your brows without it being overly saturated like an old tattoo used to be.
This is beautiful work right here. Super, super natural looking. And that's really the goal of microblading. When you're doing it really well, like Jacoby, it's going to look so natural that you can't tell the difference between the actual hair and the tattooed strokes, right, Jacoby?
Yes, that's right.
All right. So how has life changed for you since you started this microblading career?
Oh my gosh. I feel just like this is where I'm supposed to be. I don't have a lot of stress in my life anymore. I just kind of take each day at a time. And like I said, I spend a lot of time with family. So I love it.
What couldn't you do before, as far as like the time you spend now with family? What couldn't you do before that you are able to do now?
So I am able to take vacation when my husband has vacation, without having to fill out forms, to request off, because I just create my own schedule. If I need to take off at 2:00 in the afternoon to take my daughter to gymnastics or swim practice, I can do that. So I just have a lot of freedom with my schedule to be able to do the things in life that are most important to me.
And so what's kind of I hope you don't mind I just want to fire off some quick questions here, because I see some people have certain questions, and I kind of know what the questions are after doing enough of these webinars. What's the range like in your area, the low end for microblading and the higher end?
Okay, so what I've seen is on the low end, we have people that are offering microblading for $100. And high end, we have a few people that are offering it $600 and $700.
$100 for microblading, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, that's remarkably low.
Yes.
Wow. And so you charge $350 for the procedure and $150 for the touch up, and they sort of come together. So it's basically about $500, correct?
Yes. Yes. They have 6 weeks in between their sessions. So it's a little bit more doable.
How much were you charging in the beginning? Like your first client that you actually charged?
I think a lot of my first clients I did for free just because I wasn't very confident. And then after that, as I started gaining confidence, I started at the $350 level, and I've just kept it there no matter how much training I've had.
Mm-hmm. And did you first do, or did you do the online course or the live course?
The first course I ever took was a hands-on course. And it was a great course. It was just very basic, and I didn't learn enough of what I thought I should. So after that, I did take the online course with Claire.
Mm-hmm. And what was the difference in your experience?
Oh, it was night and day. Claire's course was just so much more in depth and more detailed. And it just really hit on all the little things that I had so many questions about in the very beginning. Mm-hmm. So her course was more like an advanced course for me.
Uh-huh. And so how long did it take you to make your money back from the course?
Less than 2 months.
And how many treatments was that about?
I probably did like 5 treatments to get that back.
And where did you do those treatments?
I started out doing them at the medical spa where I worked.
Oh, no kidding.
Mm-hmm.
So wait, you were a receptionist in this place, and then were you still working as a receptionist there?
Yes. Worked as a receptionist there, making my hourly wage. And then whenever I wanted to start doing this microblading, I went and took the course, and they let me do it there as commission based. Mm-hmm. So I had to clock out, do commission, and then clock back in. It was a mess.
Oh my goodness. Literally during the day?
Mm-hmm.
During your working hours?
Yes.
Oh my God. And I suppose your boss recognized that as you continue to become successful with this, you're sort of phasing yourself out of your own job.
I think so. I'm not real sure what they thought, but I could see it in myself.
Uh-huh. And so when did you get to that point that you knew that you could make a career of this, that you could literally let go of your old position and do this full time?
You know, I don't know that I ever came to that point where I was just like, yes, I could absolutely do this. It was terrifying for me to just kind of jump out there and do it. But I had seen so many other people on different webinars that you've done that just kind of, you know, did the same thing. They just kind of took that chance. And so I knew I couldn't fail. There wasn't an option for me to fail.
So wait a second. You're saying that you, at that time, you had watched other success story interviews?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. It was incredibly inspiring to me. And all of them were so different, like you said. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, everyone came from different backgrounds, and I knew I could do it.
Yeah, I like to try to emphasize that to people, because I think, you know, the audience that we're talking to, like if you're watching this and you're thinking like, hey, Jacoby's story sounds really cool, and maybe I'd like to give this a go, but you know, you have certain apprehensions. We all would have, you know, certain apprehensions. I don't know what yours are. I know kind of in general what our audience, you know, is concerned about. And one of them is, how am I going to get this thing off the ground? Like, how am I going to get started? And it sounds like, you know, well, let me interrupt myself. Was that something that you were concerned about yourself?
Yes. And I mean, people that aren't in this industry don't understand it very well. So you kind of have that negative vibe from them, or that negativity from them. Like, are you sure you can do this type mentality? And I just had to block them and just focus on, you know, people that I had seen through the webinars and other microblading artists that I followed that were successful. And I just had to keep going, hopefully down similar paths that they did.
Wow. Yeah. So what I was going to say is I like to show that we have, in fact, I'd say the majority of our most successful artists come from outside the beauty industry, the majority of them. So you might be watching this, and even though Jacoby, you were technically in the beauty industry, working in the beauty industry, but you weren't like a service provider.
No.
You were not a service provider. So I would actually technically say that you were almost, for the purposes of our discussion here, you were technically like outside of it, because you were not an operator. You didn't have clients. You didn't have experience doing that. As opposed to someone who, for example, is like a hairstylist or an esthetician, you know, and already has, or a nail tech who has a customer base that you can go to. You didn't have that. And to my surprise, believe it or not, the majority of our most successful artists, like you might be referencing, like Amanda and Tanny and Tessie Reynolds and some of these others, they came from outside the beauty industry. Tessie is someone who lives very close to you. And Tessie was a dental hygienist, and she came from a very small town. Tessie, are you in a very populated area or not so much?
It's not as big as a lot of areas in Texas. We're on one of the smaller ends.
Mm-hmm. But would you agree that anybody can learn how to do this and to become successful with this? Absolutely.
I think with the right tools, you know, the right mentors, anybody could do this.
Why do you say with the right mentors?
Because mentors like Claire, people like Amanda Brewer, Tessie, Alba. Those are some of the ones that I have seen and that I've followed, even Leslie Ritchie, and just seeing how successful they are and the different techniques that they use that, you can follow. They're the ones that are going to lift you up all the time. Like when you're feeling down or you're just insecure and not sure about your own work, they're always there to kind of pick you back up. And so without that, you're just kind of floating around, not knowing where to go.
Jacoby, you touch on something that's so important, and it's such a big part of what Claire and I wanted to create with Beauty Angels, because, excuse me, we didn't just want to create a microblading academy. We didn't want to just teach microblading. We realized that people like you, Jacoby, you take this thing and you go and you create with it. You create a career for yourself, which translates to not only the impact that you make on your clients, but also the impact that it has on your family, on your relationship with your daughter, with your husband, and the time that you can spend with it. Like it's a magical thing. Like there's real meaning in it. There's meaning in it for you, what you're doing for your clients. There's meaning in it for the quality of life for your family. There's meaning in it for us as the Academy to provide that opportunity and that guidance and support to you and others who've come through our Academy. And so we wanted to make sure that there's like a support system, a community that really genuinely, and I really mean this, authentically cares about each other, right? And so
yes, I agree.
Yeah, so that's why we create. When we thought of the name Beauty Angels, it meant so many different things to us. But an angel in the sense of like, here's the Academy, and we're like an angel to the students, like you, Jacoby, or you who might be watching, who might become one of our students. We want to be an angel to you and help you. But then it's not just the Academy who's an angel to you; it's you who's the angel to your customers and your clients, right? And Jacoby, who's an angel to her clients. But then there's the other angels, like it's a community of angels. And I promise you, if you just watch some of our content, the feeling that you get when you watch our content, this is for real. This is really what we're about. And we do our best to try to communicate that through video, through all the various mediums. We're trying to show you what we are, who we are, what we care about, what our values are. And I really hope that comes across, Jacoby. I don't know if it does as effectively as I would like it to, but that's truly what we're about. And when you come to a class, you're going to feel the support. When you continue with the course, because you're not going to learn microblading. Jacoby, you would agree with this. You're not going to learn microblading in 2 days or 10 days. No. You're not just going to learn it from coming to one of our live events. You're going to learn it after you come to the live event. You're going to continue to work, and you have 20 levels to graduate from the course, and they're bite-sized pieces. We don't overwhelm you with too much. We give you just small challenges that you have to work on. You keep submitting your work, and there's ongoing support from your trainer, but you're going to feel that support. You're going to feel that we want you to succeed. You're going to feel that we care about you. And I'm sorry for rambling about this, but it's so important to me to communicate this. And I hope that you look in my eyes and you see how serious I am when I tell you this. This is 100%. But anyway, I sort of interrupted your whole story there. Would you tell me just a little bit about, like, if you were to summarize some of the keys to your success, like before you summarize the keys to success, why don't we go back to the very beginning? How did you get your first, 5 to 10 customers? How did you get them?
Just through word of mouth and social media. Social media is a huge impact on my business. Mm-hmm.
And so which platform, and how did you do it?
I developed a Facebook business page, and I linked it to my Instagram business page so that I'm showing content on both, because not everybody uses both. But I wanted them to be simple and just blend well together.
Very clever. And I know you also have a nice professional website as well. That was an important part of it, I would imagine.
Yes. That's one that I can always send my clients to if I'm talking to them. And then anything that they click on in the website can get sent to either Instagram or Facebook. So they're all intertwined together.
So you sort of just, you got them caught up in your web of content.
Yeah, a network.
Yes, and you present yourself very professionally. I mean, even the place where you're located, the way you present yourself physically, the content on your Instagram. I know the content on your Facebook and your website. It's all very professional, and I think that's one distinguishing characteristic of all of our successful microblading artists, no matter what level that you're at. Mm-hmm. Presenting yourself as a professional is really important, especially today, because there's more competition today than there was 3 years ago when we had gotten started in this industry. And that's not a bad thing. That's a reflection of the fact that there's a lot of people who really want this service, but it's up to you to distinguish yourself as a professional, because just like any field, any industry, there's going to be lots of people who go into it, but they don't really treat it like a real professional they don't conduct themselves professionally. They don't like the serious opportunity that it is. And if you do, you're going to stand out from the rest. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's one of the things that I hear a lot from my clients is just how beautiful my space is, how well I dress. And it just instantly makes them feel comfortable about their decision in choosing me to be their microblading artist.
Yes. You know, after you generate leads from your social media or your Instagram or your website or wherever it is, you may schedule an appointment, but it doesn't stop there. It's not like there could be people that are no-shows. So you need to make sure that your presence online is really on point, because after they schedule that appointment, they're going to go back and they're going to check you out and make sure that they made a good decision, because it's a big decision. It's going to happen. Right. You know, it's not something you do every week or every month, like getting your nails done. This is something, it's an important decision. So they want to make sure that they made a good decision. So it's up to you to present yourself professionally in every touch point with the client. So Jacoby, after you got those first 5-10 clients, at what point did you start charging, and where did you start working? How did it go from there?
I think after the first, I would say about 5 clients, that's when I started charging them, because I felt a little bit more comfortable. And it wasn't just working on clients strictly. There were days that I would be at home and work on practice skins all the time. When I didn't have a client, I was working on practice skins. And I think that is what really helped me get or become comfortable with working on my actual clients, just developing that muscle memory.
Yes. And so would you say your main source of clients was what?
Social media.
Mm-hmm. So what were you doing on social media? You were posting pictures of work, or what were you doing?
I would post pictures of work. I would also post, things like, what is microblading? I would create my own little posts to put on there and just kind of give little tips on what people can expect when getting microblading done. What can they expect afterwards? Just kind of everything that a client asks me, I know that other clients want to know as well. So I was posting about that so that they could see, that I knew what I was talking about or knew what I was doing and become comfortable enough to come talk to me in person. That's
so smart what you did right there, because when I say you got to present yourself as a professional, this type of content, I hope you guys are listening to this, because this type of content that Jacoby was posting on her social media presents her as a professional, just by posting, frequently asked questions and providing answers to these things, not just posting pictures of work. Because in the beginning, you might not even have a lot of content. Whatever content you get, if you have somebody that comes in, like Tanny told me, recently, Tanny Dieppe, who's one of our trainers and a very successful microblading artist, she told me her business took off when she did microblading for this young girl who's very pretty, had really beautiful eyes and nice skin and everything. And she nailed it on the microblading, like it was her best work that she had done up to that point. And the girl was beautiful and very photogenic. And the whole thing came together, and she made the post, and it got like 1,000 likes. And she only had a couple of hundred followers at that time, but 1,000 likes in a relatively short amount of time, because the picture was so compelling. And so then she boosted it, and that boost of that post led to more. And then she took that picture and she sort of split it up and started using it in multiple ways on different platforms. And she like multiplied the value of that content. And that really catapulted her for one piece of content. One piece of content, because think about what it did. That one piece of content led to a whole bunch of people who wanted to get microblading from her, from which she generated lots more content, which multiplied the whole thing. And then you get lots more content. And then not only are you getting lots more content, but you're getting a lot more opportunity to practice doing microblading until your work is getting better. And just the whole thing is starting to compound and get better, and you're getting more content, you're looking more professional. And it has this snowball effect, like it's going down the hill, accumulating mass and speed. Jacoby, did you have a similar experience like that?
I mean, definitely. You take so many different pictures, and every client is so different. Their brows are unique to them. But I mean, when you do have that one that is so photogenic, your work is just incredible. It's crisp, it's clean. It definitely goes far. And I mean, those are the ones that I like to boost as well, just to get out there. But even if I don't post a client's picture, I still text it to them or send it to them because they want to show their friends or they want to show their coworkers. Right. And so it just really gets your name out there.
Yes, that's such a good point. Jacoby, do you really do believe that anybody can learn this?
I really do.
I want to show everybody a little bit of the course material, because I want you to understand when we say anybody can learn this, there's a system to teaching you how to do microblading. And so one part of your thought might be, well, how do I get customers? Well, you just heard a little bit of Jacoby's story, how she went from 0 to 5 and then 10 and some referrals and free services and getting some content, putting it on social media. So now you know how Jacoby did it, okay? So she went from receptionist, $12 an hour, 6 days a week, doubled her income, her own boss, working 4 days a week, gets to spend lots of time with I'm going to say
Finley.
Oh, Finley. I was about to say Finley. I'm like, I know it's not Finland, but it's Finley, her daughter Finley, okay, and her husband. But so you know how she did it, but let me show you how you learn the actual art, how we teach it to you, okay? So what happens, no matter if you take the live course or you take the online course, either way, you're going to get access to our 20-level curriculum, which teaches you microblading, and it also teaches you shading, because you need to know shading today in this market, and it'll give you the ability to handle more situations, more client situations, and increase the money that you make. But this is the actual basic microblade and shade course. This is what it is. It comes with a course manual here that you have complete access to. I think it's about 60 pages. You get printable worksheets that you can actually use with a pencil, and you can practice going over the bladed strokes. Like, we broke this down to little bite-sized pieces. But what you'll see is the very first level, it's not complicated. It's simply learning to do the shape of the brow on paper, okay? The next level, after you master simply the first level, is learning the stroke patterns on paper with a pencil. Again, simple. And then as you send in your work to your master trainer, and there's this back and forth between you and your trainer, where your trainer approves your work so that you can feel confident that you got that level and you're good up to that point. Now you're authorized to move on to the next level, stroke patterns on latex, the brow beginning strokes, connection strokes. So let me show you what one of the levels might look like so you can see this. Here's level 5. This is connection strokes and connection lines, all right? These are the brow beginning strokes over here. And then there's the connection strokes that connect to what this is over here. This is the connection line. So we have video animations that show you how to do it. We have text that describes how to do it for some of you who like to read. We have the animations that break it down, C1, C2, C3, and C4, and so on. So it's really small bite-sized pieces. Then we get to show it to you on actual skin, so you can see what it looks like on skin, on real skin. We show it to you, the different types of connection strokes. We demonstrate it to you both as an animation and as skin, excuse me. And then what we show you is, here's what your latex is going to look like. And this is really cool, all right? This is the latex that I'm holding up here. This latex that we've created, it corresponds to the various levels with the course. And so you'll have these actual strokes on the latex so that you can literally follow along with the latex. And if you can connect dots like Finley. If Finley can connect the dots, okay, if you can connect dots, you can learn microblading, because we set it up with dots so that you can practice making the shape. All right, one part is actually practicing how to put the dots and how to use the measuring tool, the compass, to make the dots. But another is connecting the dots. So we put all these exercises together for you. Here's the exercise. We show it to you how to do it. And one of the cool things, Jacoby, that we put together is a mistakes video in most of the levels. This mistakes video is really cool because after teaching 3,000 students, we figured out common mistakes that people make. And so we made a video out of it, as in, don't do this, don't do that, right? So here's our mistakes video, how to work on the left brow with the latex. Like, we've covered everything. We left nothing, no stone unturned. And so you go through all the various levels using the same process where you submit your exercise, you get the feedback from the master trainer, and then you submit, you get authorization to move to the next level. But what you also get, in addition to the actual 20-level curriculum and the ongoing support for 6 months, in addition to that, you get this kit.
Oh, I love the kit.
Look at this kit. All right. This kit's really cool. It's over $900 in retail products. You have to open the wing. You got to flap your wings. And then you open up this kit and you're going to see you have, the first thing you're going to notice is this kit smells amazing. That's the best part of the kit. I'll just tell you right off the bat. It smells so good because of our aftercare products, which are amazing. But you'll see here, we've got three boxes of disposable tools, okay? The disposable tools look like this. They're super, super duper functional. And when I say functional, you see there's a blade on each side. There's one blade for the first pass. And then oftentimes experienced microblading artists will use 2 blades in one procedure. They'll use the regular, what's called a U blade, and then they'll take out another blade, which is called the nano blade. And that nano blade is very fine, and they want to make very precise strokes when they follow the strokes and do the second pass and the third pass if necessary. So we put both of them into one tool to save you money. All right. So we've designed all of this really thinking from an applicable, standpoint, from the artist standpoint. You get 8 pigments up here. You get the compass, the measuring device. You get all sorts of stuff. It's enough to do somewhere around 30 treatments. Okay. And so this is pretty much everything. It's pretty much everything that you would need to start your microblading career. You've got the support. You've got the 20-level curriculum. You've got shading for free. You've got the kit. You've got a team. You've got a support system around you. You've got all these webinars that we do. And Jacoby mentioned that she held on to these things at times to help pull her through, to see her through to success. And it's all available to you. So if you'd like to take action, I just want to remind you, you'll see a link somewhere around this video. Go ahead and click that link. It'll take you to a page where you can schedule a free, no pressure consultation with our staff. They're very friendly. They'll just answer your questions and see if a career in microblading is for you. Jacoby, you're awesome. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. This was really cool because this little webinar here is going to inspire a lot of people, just the way some of the webinars that you saw inspired you and helped you to get to where you need to go. And now here you are reaching back to try to help some other people achieve success and improve their lives just as well. So thank you so much for doing this.
Yes, thank you so much for inviting me.
No, you're very welcome. All right, y'all. That's my Texas accent coming out.
It's perfect.
That's it for the day. We'll catch you on the next one. Thanks a lot, Jacoby. See you later.
Bye, y'all.
Peace.